More on the ground offensive that Israel has launched in Gaza. Ali Abunima is the author of The Battle for Justice in Palestine. He's also the editor of the online Palestinian news site, The Electronic Intifada. Ali Abunima, can you tell us what you believe the tunnels that Israel says it's targeting are used for? Because, of course, Israel says that Palestinian militants use it to gain access to Israeli territory.
I don't typically start from what Israel says it's doing. I typically start from the observable facts. And the observable facts tonight and in the last 11 days is massive bombardment and targeting of civilians. Tonight in Gaza, Israel attacked the Al-Wafa hospital and destroyed it. This is days after threatening it and firing so-called warning missiles on it. And the patients, many of them frail and elderly, had to be evacuated from the hospital under fire. Also tonight, now coming into early morning in Gaza, the Ministry of Health reported that in the Israeli invasion, a 5-month-old baby is among those killed as the bombardment goes on and the ground incursions in several parts of Gaza. So that's what I can comment on, the things that are actually observable and known, and not the propaganda coming from the Israeli army.
Can you tell us, do you know where the diplomatic efforts taking place in Egypt are at the moment? What are the sides saying about talks that are happening?
Well, it's very simple. The Palestinian factions, particularly Hamas, have laid out very clear terms for a ceasefire, which is that Israel respect the ceasefire agreement it signed in November 2012, in November 2012, that it violated almost immediately, that it released prisoners that it rearrested, prisoners who are released again as part of a deal that Israel signed with Hamas, and that it lift the siege, which is making life a living hell for 1.8 million people in Gaza, 80% of them refugees, and half of them children. The siege is intolerable. That's what's coming from everybody in Gaza, and it's time to end the siege. It's time to let people in Gaza live and to stop behaving as if there is any parity between a powerful occupying army and the refugee population it displaced and is currently bombing mercilessly. And as Human Rights Watch said yesterday, targeting civilians in violation of international law.
Has public opinion, do you know, in Gaza changed at all in the past 10 days? Or indeed, has it been hardened to support the rocket attacks going from Gaza into Israel? I'm just wondering whether people are thinking that possibly it may now be time that some sort of truce be put in place so that they can live some sort of normal life while then negotiations go on without the fighting.
Every single person I've talked to or heard speaking from Gaza wants the violence to end. But everybody I've spoken to says that life under siege, life under constant Israeli bombardment is a slow death. And so there is strong support from everyone I talk to for a ceasefire that ends the siege, that ends the Israeli violence. Let's remember, I mean, the BBC keeps repeating the Israeli government talking points that this is all about rocket fire from Gaza. But instead of doing that, I would strongly recommend the BBC do some journalism and tell its viewers that it is Israel that has time and time again violated the ceasefires, as it did after November 2012. The UN figures show, and you can check this, that in the first 3 months after the November 2012 ceasefire, not one rocket came out of Gaza, but Israel bombed Gaza dozens of times, killing and injuring dozens of people. People in Gaza don't want that to happen again. They want a real binding ceasefire.
Ali Abunima, thank you very much indeed for your time, sir. We do try to put both sides of the story. That's why we invite you, people like you, onto our news programmes. Thank you very much indeed.